Hi everyone, welcome to the second session of history for class 9. From yesterday we started our first session. So before I start the chapter, or you can say before I continue the chapter, I request everyone once more to be with the book so we can get connected whatever I explain you. So yesterday I gave you introductions about the French Revolution. So let's recapitulate the chapters in a very short, whatever we have done yesterday. Yesterday I gave an explanations about the French Revolutions, which started on 14th of July 1789. We read about the despotic power of the king also, the Bastille, which was very hated by all the peoples. And we read about the French society during the late 18th century. And also we read about the causes of the French Revolution. We studied three causes: social, economic cause and political cause. We even studied the division of the society. The French society was divided into three categories. One, first state, second state and third state. You can see on page number 4 on the right hand side, see how it is given in the picture how the French society was divided. First state, clergy; second state, nobility; and third state, professors, lawyers, labor, artisans, peasants, and etc. and etc. So today we'll start new topic from the same chapter. We'll continue from the same chapter. A growing middle class in wishes and end to the privilege. The outbreak of the revolution. And the third topic today we're going to read is France becomes a constitutional monarchy. Yesterday we were talking about the populations, right? The number of populations rose from 23 millions to 28 millions. So this population, the increase of the populations, got a major problem in the society over here. What was the problem? Means the scarcity of food. Because of I gave you example yesterday, right, about the rise in the families and all about this. Hope you have gone through that. So now people started facing the problem. Now how the people gonna deal about this? Whether the people will come out through this problem, or now who will lead these things now? Now people don't want any discriminations. People don't want any privilege over here. Now people started taking part in the revolutions. They started revolting against the first state and the second state. They started fighting for their rights, but they failed. They failed because there were no one to lead this revolt. There was no any good leader to lead this revolt. Now who gonna lead this revolt now? A big question. Who gonna lead this? Now the question comes over here that who gonna lead this revolt? There was a certain section of the people in the society that was called middle class, who were a bit educated, who were in good professions like professors, lawyers, merchants, businessmen. Now these people gave all the responsibility to these people, this middle class. The people gave an access to these people for the new ideas how to overcome this problem. In third state, it doesn't mean that only there are like peasants, farmers, laborers. No, there were certain people who were educated. who have knowledge. Now these people, those who were educated, they thought there should not be any privilege by birth in the society. If I'm not wrong, yesterday even I explained you these things, the privilege about by the birth. So these people don't want any privilege by the birth. They want privilege through the merit in the society. Even the philosophers in these chapters will read the name of the few philosophers. They also played a vital role. They also gave their contributions in these revolutions. How they motivated the people. How they motivated the people by their words. How they gave an idea to revolt against this first state and the second states. People started getting inspired by these philosophers like John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Montesquieu. Even like they wrote a book. John Locke, he wrote a book, a name in his true treatise of government. He refuted to doctrine of the device and absolute right of the monarch. He was totally against the monarchy rule. Rousseau carried the idea of forward, proposing a form of government based on the social contract by or between the people and their representative. So there should be a good connections between the representative and the people. So there should not be any discriminations. Rousseau don't want any discrimination between the representative and the people. Now another philosopher, Montesquieu, what he wrote in the Spirit of the Law in his book, he proposed the divisions of the power within the government. The Montesquieu, he want the power to be divided in the government. Like we have our form of government, right, in India, we have legislatures, executive and judiciary. The same Montesquieu also want that there should be a legislative, executive and judiciary form of government so that the people would feel safe in this part. So when this philosopher started expressing the words, or like people started getting inspiring, now people started talking about the philosophers now. In saloons, coffee shops, tea, wherever the few people they gathered, they started talking about this. Maybe like the people thought like, yes, this philosophers, whatever they are saying, they're correct. We should follow them. If we want our rights, we should follow them. There were lots of people who were illiterate. It was very tough for the philosophers, for the educated persons to make them realize what is wrong and what is right in the society. Now, these philosophers became a path. These philosophers became a path for this type of people. When they heard that the king gonna impose a tax, a higher tax for the people, that means for the people means the third estates, the people started getting angry, and now what happened? The people started getting very angry and they started revolting against the king. Now we'll go to the another topic. There is outbreak of the revolutions. I will read some questions that is already in the book. You can check it out in page number 8. Louis XVI had to increase taxes for reasons you have learned in the previous section. How do you think he could have gone about during this? In France of the old regime, the monarch did not have the power to impose taxes according to his will alone. Here, Louis XVI did not have power to impose tax alone. He was not allowed to impose, he was not allowed to do by his will whatever he want. Now, he should call some representative from each state, like clergy, nobility, or you can say from the third estates, laborers and all. So this Louis XVI have only right to call the meeting, but he did not have right to like you can say to he did not have right to impose the tax. If tax has to be imposed, it should be discussed with all the representatives. So he called a meeting. Who? Louis XVI called a meeting. In 1614, is in the book also, page number 8 and the first paragraph. In 1614 was the last time when the king called everyone for the meeting. On 5th May 1789, what happened? The Louis XVI called together an assembly from the different states. Over there, they started a voting system for imposing a tax. Before this, I just want to recapitulate you few things over here. This meeting was called. This meeting, that means the Louis XVI, he called this meeting for implementations of taxes. Because Louis XVI want to impose a high tax. Why Louis XVI want to impose a high tax? Because you know, as already, because the France treasury was already empty. So they need fund to run the government. How they will look after the army, officials, administrations, isn't it? So for this, the Louis XVI want fund. So for this purpose, to impose a higher tax, Louis XVI called a meeting. A resplendent hall in Versailles was prepared to host the delegates. And you know, the very shocking thing, 300 representatives each from first and second states, they attended the meeting, and more than 600 members of the third estates had to stand at the back. Even there, these third estates were discriminated. How first estate and second estate sat in the meeting, you can see they like face to face. The first estate and the second estate, they sat face to face. And where the third estate stood, they stood at the back side. They were not allowed to sit. So here also we can find out that this was the part of discriminations. The 600 members who attended this meeting from the third estate, they were educated persons. They were prosperous and very educated person. However, artisans, peasants and women were denied to enter the meeting, or you can say assembly. They were kept outside there. They did not allow them to get inside the hall. Now voting each state general has been conducted as according to past of principle. Each state one vote, but the member of third estates demanded for each member one vote philosophy. What before it used to happen, like from the third estate one vote, second estate one vote, and third estate one vote. Naturally over here, first estate and second estate, they were already like friends type, you can say, because they were already exempted from the taxes and all. Naturally the third estates will lose the vote, and whatever the terms and conditions, the third estates have to follow. But here the third estates, they objected. The third estates kept a proposal. There should be one person, one vote. Listening to this proposal, Louis XVI denied. They rejected this proposal. One person, one vote. Now what happened over here? The people of the third stage who attended the meeting in the hall, they walked out from the assembly and started protesting. Because whatever the third state they planned, that was not going through according to that. So what happened? The third state, they came out from the room. They started protesting, the third state people started protesting, and they themselves, the third state people, they themselves declared a national assembly. They themselves declared that, yes, now we are free. They started drafting a constitutions for France to limit a power of monarch. Because France people, they want, the third state people, especially the third state people want, there should not be any monarchical rule in the country. So they want the power should be suppressed. The monarchical rule should be suppressed in the country. Now this was led by the Mirabeau and the Abbe Sieyès. They were the priests. Due to the power of revolt, Law 16 finally recognized the National Assembly and accepted the constitutions. Finally what happened? The Louis XVI, he finally accepted the proposal of the recognitions of the National Assembly and accepted in the France constitutions. Finally, the assembly passed a law abolishing the feudal system of obligations and taxes. Whatever the taxes the third state have to pay, that was totally rejected. Now, another topic, we'll go to the another topic, that's France becomes a monarchy, constitutional monarchy. Now this topic, the France becomes a constitutional monarchy. The National Assembly completed the draft of the constitution in the year 1791. Now this is the first step. Finally, somehow the monarchical rule, the monarchical power is getting slowly suppressed. Maybe you can say this is the first victory of the third state. What was the exactly the purpose of this constitutional monarchy? The very important thing is, like, it was just to limit the power of the monarch. It was just to limit the power of the monarch. They don't want everything under the monarchical rule. This power, instead of being concentrated in the hand of the one person, were now separated and assigned to a different institutions. The legislature, executive and judiciary form of government now. Though the France government gave a recognition of the National Assembly in their constitutions, but there were some sort of terms and conditions. The people actually what they want, the third state people want their rights. They want the voting rights. But here comes another problem over here. What problem? The citizens voted for a group of electors who in turn choose the assembly. But not all citizens were allowed to vote. Now, who were allowed to vote? Only men. Only men about 25 years of age were allowed to vote. Only persons, men who were 25 years of age, above 25 years of age, they were allowed to vote. Now, why they were allowed to vote now? They were allowed to vote because they used to pay taxes equal to the at least 3 days of the labor wage, and they were given opportunity to vote. And these people who gave their 3 days wages and they got the right to vote, and the person who is above only 25 years of age, these people were called active citizens. And the remaining men and the women were called passive citizens. Men who did not pay 3 days wages were not allowed to vote. Somehow we also find, like, we can see like they got a constitutional monarchy. As I said, it was a first victory, somehow relief to the third estate people, but somehow again they were suppressed over here. They were not allowed to vote. That means we can say no equal right to vote to the men and women. These constitutions began with the declarations of right of a man and citizens. Rights such as right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before law were established as natural and inalienable rights. That is, they belong to each human being by birth and could not be taken away. It was the duty of the state to protect its citizens' natural right. That means right to freedom of speech, right to life, to keep their opinion, equality before law. This was a natural right of the people. So this type of rights were not allowed to take from the people. This was a natural right, and the duty of the state, you can say the duty of the government, was to protect this right of the people. So in this session we read 3 topics. 1, a growing middle class of invices and end to privilege. The third estate want to stop the privilege which was given by from birth. The second topic we read the outbreak of the revolution, and the third we read about France becomes a constitutional monarchy. So please students, go through the books thoroughly so that you can understand more from this chapter. So we'll meet in another session 3 with another new topics. Please subscribe my channel and make sure you please share these videos to your friends. Make sure to reach out to your friends, make them understand about this chapter 2. So thank you so much.